Ben Ball. La la la. While you guys are sleeping, what's that saying? The early bird gets a worm.
So there we have it. Survivor, Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers. It's in the books. Ghost Island is next. Spooky, right? But first, let's put a period, full stop, pretty little bow on HHH and discuss everything it was, everything it wasn't, and everything in between.
I am a virgin.
Oh my gosh, it's awesome. I could stay on there for a really long time.
So my face feels red thinking about him thinking about me.
At the end of every season, I want to take a look back and provide a big picture review of what we just watched. Was the Survivor season good? Bad? A little of both? With this video and this eventual series, I intend to sum up my thoughts from the premiere all the way to the end of the reunion, gauging how I felt about the season as a whole, as well as adding it to the Survivor archives. To keep it simple, I'll break this review into two sections. One section to judge the pre-merge and one section to judge the post-merge. So let's take a look at Survivor, Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers. God, that's a mouthful. Going all the way back to episode 1.
Survivor is back. Eighteen strangers are about to begin an adventure that will forever change their lives.
I think the theme of Triple H is probably the biggest mouthful a Survivor season has ever given us. I still remember when Blood vs. Water was thrown our way, and then getting Millennials versus Generation X, but there's just no way I am ever going to say the full name of this season. It's essentially another way to say brains, brawn, beauty, or some collar coloration, and ultimately fell to the wayside pretty quickly as far as themes go. Surprise, surprise. The premiere of HHH, where we saw Katrina get voted out while Chrissy withheld her super idol from being used, was pretty ho-hum as far as premieres go. The season really did start out a bit slow with a promise to keep watching. We did get one of the most fantastic pre-merge riots ever with Alan Ball, an amazing man who left our TV screens way too soon. His shakedown of JP and Ashley and the Madman, I'm not crazy, with the most intense crazy eyes I have ever encountered, was absolutely fantastic.
I'm not crazy. I'm confident.
You're gonna feel very silly.
If I go home tonight because I'm silly, so be it.
On the healers' end, we had a long-lasting feud between Joe and Mike. Little did we know how deep into the season that would go. I imagine a rewatch of the Healers Tribe would be pretty amusing. Of course, we also saw the Cole and Jessica romance come into full bloom episode by episode. Hard to believe now that we are done with the season that this was a major story arc through the entire pre-merge. And of course, we have the Hustlers. They were the lose-on brains of the season, where we saw them basically implode most of the pre-merge, particularly pre-swap, with Simone, Patrick, and Allie all leaving. The Simone boot was incredibly predictable, especially given how invisible she was in the premiere, whereas the goofy antics of Patrick were probably on our screen just enough for us to find him amusing, if not immature, only to then cut him loose at the right time before he became too overbearing and a total goat to be dragged to the end. I gotta say that in hindsight, his feud with Lauren, man, he had no idea what he was getting himself into. Lauren was a total shark hidden in the water, and when she joked about not liking gingers, only now do I realize how much danger Patrick was really in.
So I know for a fact that Patrick will write my name down. You know, to be a good fisherman, do I sit here in the same spot every day and wait for the same fish to come by? No. I try numerous different things, and I never threw my hands up without trying my hardest.
The swap of the season was actually pretty good, just given it happened an episode early, and most of us, including the cast, never saw it coming. Usually it happens at 14, this time it happened at 15. Chrissy and Ben became separated, Ryan and Devin became separated, and then Cole and Jessica, while they continued to do #Survivor romantic things. I think the swap episodes were somewhat fun, considering they're still in the pre-merge, which I usually find less compelling than the post-merge. The feud between Joe and Alan, with Devin in the middle, was really good TV. Joe's idol play was one of the best pre-merge idol plays we've ever seen, and having Devin's dopey that is not an advantage cracks me up.
This is a secret advantage, but it is being used against you by another player to block your vote at tonight's tribal council. That is not an advantage.
The blind side of Rourke versus Chrissy was a bit harsh and probably one of the less compelling episodes of the season, but I do think it gives a great example of how good Chrissy was at bonding, especially with Ryan, a scrawny little 20-something-year-old bellhop, someone you'd think she would have nothing in common with, only to then win him over. Considering both Chrissy and Ryan reached the final 3, I would argue Chrissy at least gets second place even if Devin wins the fire-making challenge. And then Allie. Oh, Allie, I miss you too soon. The latest pre-merge queen who really felt like she was going to go the distance. Once again, you can't mess with Chrissy and expect to survive. I wasn't a big fan of the episode either because it really felt like Allie just had no hope. I mean, why would Ryan blindside her the previous episode and then flip back her way in the next one, especially in the pre-merge? As far as the pre-merge goes overall, it did have some fantastic moments, but I think that's kind of par for the course with Survivor. And on a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it a solid 7. The season was less dominated by its crazy votes and more by its character moment, which I appreciate, and I think the pre-merge does exemplify that. But I do have to dock it points for some of the boots being completely ignored, with some of the votes just being a little flat. The post-merge, however, might just get a little bit more love. Except, again, similar to the premiere, this merge episode really didn't stand out in any way. It was very average. I mean, we had 2 alliances of 5 with Ben and Lauren in the middle, and it just came down to which way they wanted to go.
Ben and I, we've been together since Yawa, and he was the only one from Heroes, I was the only one from Hustlers, but now we are really in the middle. But you need to just think about it, and you just let me know.
Okay.
This is a whole new game. There's just so much to try to figure it out in your head and make a great decision. It's very hard.
There's always a lot of weaving threads at this point in every season, but it seemingly all came together very neatly by the end of the first episode of the merge, which paved the way for a couple of snooze fests. Having Desi and Cole go right after Jessica really put the fear of a pagonging into my heart. While I thought the pre-merge was solid, I suddenly was having horrible flashbacks to seasons with awful post-merges, and this felt like it was going to go that way. I don't think losing Desi or Cole in a healer route was terrible. I'm not all about being results-oriented, but I do think it doesn't help when you look back and you want to recommend the season to maybe a friend, or maybe you just want to rewatch it yourself. I think those episodes were fun in some ways. We did have that hectic idol grab where Cole was framed, with also one of my favorite moments of the season. It's when JP walks right by Ryan as the chaos is unfolding. I know JP doesn't get a lot of airtime, but I really think he needs more love.
Guys, you're about to kill me. All for an idol.
Which is exactly what he doesn't get at the final 9 when the first major blindside of the season kicks in as the Dominant Alliance pulls the trigger and picks up the coconuts. This double boot episode was utterly fantastic. One of the best double boots we've ever had. Having Ben go undercover and pull the wool over half of the cast was such a delight to watch. It was also nice to just see some of the strong players really emerge from what otherwise looked to be a very complacent majority alliance. Lauren, Devin, Ashley, and Ben all really shown here, between Ben's acting to Lauren's double vote no nonsense to Devin really bursting at the seams with great strategic insight. I can't stress enough how great the JP and Joe boots were. And then at the final 7, we get what I believe was the craziest tribal council ever, with just so much happening at once. That entire episode was the best episode of the season in my opinion, bar none. Ben's alliance turns on him. Ben finds this out, but then Ben also has the idol. A lot of Ben. We get blackmail, an auction for Lauren's vote, a fake idol, a real idol, whispers, people getting up out of their chairs. Mike throws the idol in the fire, and then everyone gets blindsided when Ben plays his real idol.
Hey, Jeff. I made this one for my wife, but when I went to read my letter with the rock, my wife led me to this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this one for myself.
Wow. Oh, I need to come up for air. I am drowning in just the ridiculous amount of great TV. That being said, the subsequent votes to me at the final 6, and even somewhat at the final 5, they kind of felt like they were rehashing what we got, the amazingness of the final 7. Ben finding the idol becomes a thing, and it really just didn't stop happening every single episode. It kind of felt like the same episode was being played back to back to back when you look at it on paper. Ben finds the idol, nobody believes he's gonna have it. Ben plays the idol, everyone's shocked. Ben finds the idol, nobody thinks he has it. Ben then drops another bomb, everyone's shocked, etc, etc. I mean, I'm not even joking. That's actually what happened for 3 straight tribal councils. While it was absolutely crazy, I mean, bombs blowing up a tribal council is crazy, and it was pretty fun to watch, it did still kind of frustrate me to see the entire cast, except for Ben, look like a complete idiot by allowing this man to do what he's doing.
Oh! Oh! Nobody saw that.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I just fell.
I know the edit only shows up to like 0.1% of all footage shot, but still, this is what we got. I have to critique it. So while I did enjoy these late post-merge episodes a good amount, I do think in hindsight they have a case of diminishing returns. And then the finale happened, and we all went home and slept peacefully. What a night that was. Everyone was happy to see Ben, the All-American Marine, find yet another idol, then win the absolutely beloved Forced Fire-Making Challenge, only to basically sweep the vote with fireworks shooting off into the distance. No, I'm kidding. It was a shit show, obviously. Thank you, Taliesin, for that. So, okay, here we go. Objectively, the finale was pretty dang fun up until it wasn't.
You could be a millionaire, Chrissy.
First of all, you could be a millionaire and Devin could be a millionaire.
True.
Right?
I know one thing Ben will not be.
Really, I was having a blast watching it all unfold up until the new twist revealed itself. At that point, I basically spent the rest of the night with a horrified look on my face as I already knew what was going to happen and really just sat on my couch watching as beat by beat everything I thought was going to happen happened. I didn't really like the advantage any more than the rest of you, and yeah, it made the conclusion of the season go from racing full speed ahead with the momentum of freight train to ramming itself right into a wall with no survivors, pun intended. But that's just in my opinion, at least. I know some of you were Big Ben fans and no, not the Tower, and were happy to see him win no matter the cost, but I just wasn't. Mind you, I did like Ben and was rooting for him as much as the rest, but only in the sense that we're playing Survivor and not Survivor with like Big Brother nominees and this awkward fire-making challenge. Who wants to see Ben's HOH room? And then the reunion happened, and really, it was, what, 15 minutes long? I mean, I think I've already talked about it longer than it aired. Why does Jeff keep talking to random kids in the audience? Can anyone explain this to me? A lot of ups and downs, but overall, I gotta give the post-merge a very weak 8 out of 10. But for the finale, it was a solid 9, and that means a lot to me. It was leaning even higher than that, but the finale kind of brought it down a whole point. You can't finish with that closing chapter. And ultimately, what could have shaped up to be a possible top 10 season thus far has definitely fallen down in my books to the middle of the pack. I think that this ultimately is a mid-tier season through and through, and I don't mean any disrespect towards it. I do think that it's still pretty good. With all that said, I am going to give Survivor HHH a 7.5 out of 10. I really like this newbie cast, and I think we had more than a handful of standout players that I would love to see play again. Alan, Allie, Joe, Lauren, Dr. Mike, Devin, and Chrissy, they all need to come back at some point. Hell, I'll take Ryan too, why not? A decent pre-merge with a post-merge that was slow to start, but once it got rolling, it really did go places. Only to crash and burn at the last vote of the season thanks to an unwelcome twist. If the twist is here to stay forever, then fine. I'm just gonna have to get used to it. But I fear it's going to do more harm than good in the long run, and I kind of hope it doesn't return down the line. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, but now I'm kind of curious. I know your opinions on the Final Four twist, but beyond that, what did you think of Survivor HHH overall? Did you like it enough to give it maybe a 7.5, or maybe less, or maybe more? As always, feel free to subscribe for more Survivor goodness. My name is Peridiam, and I will see you guys in the next video.
All moms are heroes because they put other people before themselves. They don't even stop and think. They put themselves on the line every day. Yes, not like a firefighter or a Marine, but it is with great love and no thought that they get in there and do whatever they have to do for their kids. And so moms are not only heroes, but we are also healers and we are also hustlers.